So Nintendo has these events called Nintendo Live, and last year they had one in Seattle, and they had one this year in Tokyo. Well, I believe it was supposed to be at the very beginning of this year, but due to some threats from an anonymous source, they ended up canceling it, and we didn't really hear much else about this, and this was happening back in December 7th, I believe, of 2023. Well, as of today, we have some more information about what these threats were about and what's happened. So apparently, Nintendo Live Tokyo, like I said, was supposed to be at the beginning of this year. And some man actually ended up sending in death threats. And we know a little bit more, saying that it is a 27-year-old man that sent in a whopping 39 threats via Nintendo's inquiry form. So I guess he was just like complaining about something and just kept sending in threats, and he was sending these threats in to the people involved in Nintendo Live, the employees and stuff, and just really hammering them for something. And then now we actually know, because the man had been charged, but this was all happening between the months of August and November of 2023, and he was sending in some crazy threats, and they included, quote, "I'm going to make you regret releasing such a crappy game to the world," and quote, "I'm going to unalive," quotation marks, "everyone involved." Now this is just truly insane. Now of course Nintendo decided to just cancel the event altogether, so they ended up not doing Nintendo Live Tokyo because of this. And yeah, he even sent direct threats to the people that were playing the Splatoon Koshien 2023 National Finals, and was like even threatening the attendees and the staff, which is just crazy. So they canceled the whole thing because of safety reasons, which is obviously very smart from Nintendo. Now I believe the man was charged with obstructing company business, which is just too easy to let somebody off on, in my opinion. This is like a terror attack. I mean, you're sending threats to groups of people, and like, yeah, it's crazy. We don't know exactly what the threat said or anything like that. But also, I wanted to sit here and try to figure out what game could possibly make somebody this mad to where they send in 39 threats at the staff and everybody involved with a specific game. So I went back and I said, okay, what games came out in 2023? Because apparently this all happened in the months between August and November. So I just decided to look at the whole year first, and then we can like dive into the time frame. But the games that actually came out last year, you know, at least the major releases, were Fire Emblem Engage, Metroid Prime Remastered, Kirby's Return to Dreamland Deluxe, Bayonetta Origins, Advance Wars 1+2 Reboot Camp, Zelda Tears of the Kingdom, Pikmin 1+2, Everybody 1-2 Switch, Pikmin 4, Detective Pikachu Returns, Super Mario Bros. Wonder, WarioWare Move It, Super Mario RPG, and the Scarlet and Violet DLCs were like the major things. So which one of these really got Buddy that riled up where he had to send in threats to Nintendo? Now, I don't think it was Tears of the Kingdom. It could have been. Maybe they're like a huge diehard Zelda fan and they just weren't a fan as to where they went with this game. I know some people weren't. Myself included, wasn't as big of a fan of that game, but it's still a great game. Like a really good game. I don't understand why someone would be that mad over that. So I really boiled it down between like three that make the most sense to me. Everybody 1-2 Switch, Detective Pikachu Returns, and Scarlet and Violet DLCs. Now, first off, I don't even know if this was like Pokemon related, because this is something that like goes up with the Pokemon company. Nintendo just kind of oversees lots of the production and stuff. Lots of the problems and things that go on within the Pokemon games are because of the Pokemon company. So I feel like they would have took that up with the Pokemon company, and there would have been some, you know, very clear evidence that this was Pokemon related, because I know a lot of people hated Detective Pikachu Returns, but it's not one of those games that's like big enough to really hurt somebody, I feel like. I don't know. And then maybe the Scarlet and Violet DLCs, because I heard they weren't that great, at least the first wave. I don't know. Like I'm not a huge Pokemon fan, really, so I can't really tell you, you know, how the fans truly felt about these games. But those just didn't feel right to me, which leads me to believe that it's because of one final game. And that leaves Everybody 1-2 Switch. Now, one thing you also have to remember is that these threats started in August and ended in November, so it had to be a game that released before August. Now, I would assume that it would have to be a game that was very close to August, based on the fact that he started sending in these threats around August. So yeah, Pikmin 4 in July. Pikmin 4, I don't think anyone hated Pikmin 4, and then Pikmin 1+2, that's not really something to hate. So the only thing around that time would be Everybody 1-2 Switch, and this is just such a it's a weird one to call in threats about, because yeah, it's just bad. Like, it's terrible. The reviews were horrible. It's just like a cash grab, so maybe that's why they just had like this overall hate for Nintendo for releasing this game. Remember, this game was actually talked about a while in advance about how Nintendo was playtesting it, and you know, the testers at Nintendo said this game should just not come out because it's just not that good, and they still released it anyways, and everybody's just saying like, this is a weird cash grab type of thing. Why would Nintendo want to release this? So maybe they're like just super angry about that. Does it give them the justification to send in threats? Absolutely not. It's just insane. Like, sending in threats over 1-2 Switch 2? Everybody 1-2 Switch? What? Yeah, it's super silly, but like I said, the only other game outside of the Pokemon and this one I would say is probably Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. I could see there being a chance where they're like huge Zelda fans, you know, and after Breath of the Wild, they were really expecting something massively different with Tears of the Kingdom, and you know, lots of the people complained about it being the same map and, you know, it not really straying too far away from what Breath of the Wild did, so maybe they waited like all those years and then they're like, this is it, this is all we got, and you know, just got really mad about it. I don't know, it's hard to say, you know, I don't think anything in Zelda Tears of the Kingdom is that bad to the point where, you know, it could make somebody send in death threats. I don't think there's a game Nintendo has ever released for people to send in death threats. And you know what? It kind of got me thinking about some of the most controversial games that ever released for Nintendo. And even then, we didn't get threats like this. We had Amiibo Festival when people really wanted an Animal Crossing on the Wii U. That's all we got was like this little party game that wasn't even a good party game that you had to have Amiibo to play. We had Paper Mario Sticker Star and Color Splash, but Sticker Star in particular was like extremely hated and caused like a big divide in the Paper Mario community. It was really, really bad. Metroid Prime Federation Force was also really, really bad. Remember, there was even like petitions made online to not release this game. I mean, I've never seen that, but even then, I don't even think there were like death threats to this capacity, like somebody sending in 39 death threats. And there's been other games that's been really bad, like Yoshi's New Island, or maybe even some people really hated Crafted World. Some people hated some of the sports games that came out on the Switch, and you know, there's a ton of others that we could go down the line, but particularly, this one's strange, okay? This one is just weird. I get it. It's very stupid of a game to be released, but yeah, if this is the case, that's just sad. Either way, it's sad. We should never take video games this serious. It is a, you know, privilege for us to be able to play video games and be able to receive them from companies and be able to sit down and enjoy them. So yeah, for somebody that act like a man-child over this and send in death threats, 39 at that, yeah, they need arrested and they definitely need some help. But thankfully, Nintendo is indeed having another Nintendo Live this year, but it's just going to be in Sydney, Australia. So hopefully nothing happens and that can actually go according to plan. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Let me know down below what you think this game is, and maybe we'll find out eventually. Make sure you leave a like and subscribe if you want to stay up to date on more random Nintendo news. And like always, I'll see you all on the next one. See you guys.